Welcome back to another episode of 40 Facts About the 40K Universe. I am your host, Gershwan, and you are watching One Mind Syndicate. Today we continue talking about the Imperium as we take on another viewer request, the Logicians. Now, I want to thank you guys so much for making this suggestion. This organization is amazing, and while you listen to the lore of these guys, I want you to think, is the Imperial Truth still alive? And if so, how are cells like these, or how are organizations like these going to interact with Gilliman now that he's venturing into his Indomitus crusade? But first, you guys need to learn the lore. So let's get into 40 facts about the Logicians. The Logicians are an alliance of heretic factions who have long been a thorn in the side of the Calyx sector. Their origins go back considerably further into the Imperium's, and indeed humanity's past. They found their inspiration in a forbidden heretical text called In Defense of the Future, the Logical Discourse, a work declared blasphemous by both the Adeptus Ministorum and the Cult Mechanicus, and banned for several standard millennia. The Logicians are calculating, secretive, and patient in the execution of their plots and intrigues, utterly callous in their pursuit of power, and unceasing in their hunt for ever better weapons and tools by which to achieve their ends. For centuries, the Calyx sector has been known for the corrosive influence of the Logician cults, and although the power and reach of this tech cult and its splinter factions have waxed and waned over the years, the group's presence and its insidious teachings have proven impossible to entirely stamp out. In the past, the Logicians have been responsible for countless deaths in the pursuit of power and progress, and once even threatened the stability of the Calyx sector, thanks to their shadowy role in the Maritite Uprising. Although purged and hounded to near destruction following those dark times 6 standard centuries ago in the early 41st millennium, the Logicians have returned, seemingly even more subtle and insidious than before. There are those who argue that the threat they now possess is greater than ever. Some even whisper that the cult has powerful backers amongst the Calyxian elite, and perhaps even members of the Inquisition itself. The prescribed work around which the cult has its foundation first appeared more than 4 millennia ago in the Segmentum Solar, at the very heart of the Imperium, and some say parts of the text were copied from the ancient and utterly prescribed works buried deep in the vaults of Terra itself, although its authors or collectors remains unknown. The book itself states of the dangerous philosophy of progress, that the advancement of technology and science should be immediately pursued at all cost, and regardless of its source, for the ultimate benefit of humanity, and the restoration of the lost golden age of mankind. In such a new age, humanity would again bestride the stars like a colossus. The ancient domains of man would be reconquered, held, and expanded, and all the threats to human existence possessed by the Xenos or the Warp could be confronted and crushed utterly. To this end, the work insists of the destruction of the Cult Mechanicus and the overthrow of the stifling grip of imperial authority, and an end to what the book refers to as the Ecclesiarchy's tyranny of lies concerning the God Emperor and the Imperial Creed. Instead, the logical course for restoration of order and a rebirth of humanity's destiny amongst the stars is the power to be placed in the hands of the new absolute oligarchy of forward thinkers and those fitted by visions and superiority to rule, namely the Logicians themselves. The doctrines and arguments contained within the work expound the need for utter ruthlessness in order to attain the glorious coming age to which humanity is heir, and goes to advocate the forging of a secret empire within the body of the Imperium itself as the agency of its overthrow, and the unrestrained pursuit of conquest and victory through the art of technology and science at any cost. The work supports this dangerous creed within numerous worthy-sounding and elaborate justifications for any needed enormity of slaughter or sacrifice to gain the ends it glorifies, regardless of the cost in human life or freedom. In short, to attain such a living, tangible paradise, a future on which the universe itself is held in the palm of mankind's hands, no price is too high to pay in the present. It is, the book contends, a matter of simple logic. Like many widespread and successful heretical cults, the Logicians operate a largely cellular structure to their organization and are bound largely by doctrines and shared goals rather than a rigid hierarchy structure. Some in the Inquisition argue that the cult's only true members are the oligarchs that govern and fund its many independent cells. However, for such an organized and well-funded group, additional manpower is seldom a problem. These cell directors, or tetrarchs, as the Logicians call themselves, are often mercantile lords, trade officials, guild masters, and in rare instances, rogue members of the Adeptus Mechanicus, who have allowed themselves to be blinded by their own lust for power and profit. Due to their high standings in the Calixian society, the Logicians are very circumspect in their activities and highly organized, often acting far removed from the cult's activities on the ground. They prefer instead to operate through small units of highly trained agents, specialists, and mercenaries to carry out their plans and protect their interests. The cult's activities are principally centered in the acquisition of power. Power to them is political influence, the might of such forbidden arts as science and technology, and of course, wealth. To this last end, the Logicians secretly nurture and fund groups of heretics and renegade tech priests who have the purpose of developing advanced tools and weaponry with which to fight their battles, boost their wealth, and ultimately make them powerful enough to overcome the Imperium from within. The Logicians provide these renegades with a backing manpower and resources, regardless of how unethical or abnormal in nature, to pursue their projects, insane theories, and dark desires, just so long as the Logicians profit from the result of their labors. As a part of this doctrine of power through the technological superiority, they are also heavily involved in the study and replication of captured Xenos tech, and in particular, the pursuit of archaeotech, the ancient relics of humanity's advanced science in the millennia past. They have no love of the alien and follow a recognizably Puritan monodominant perspective. They simply have a need in taking whatever the Xenos might have of value and using it to their own ends. The cult strives to maintain a widespread and efficient intelligence gathering network in order both to shield it from outside intervention and to keep it informed of matters and discoveries of interest. Likewise, the cult's suspected links to local planetary organized crime groups, pirate factions, and the more disruptive of rogue traders are also very noteworthy, as the Logicians see these outsider groups as perfect avenues by which their goals can be reached, as well as imminently disposable lackeys to be used and abandoned as needed. The fundamental tenets of the Logicians, as enshrined in the Great Text, is the acquisition of power through unrestrained technological advancement. The great arrogance and sin of this work is as obvious as it is dangerous to anyone who believes in the Credo Omnissiah or the Imperial Creed, and it would lead mankind back to the terrors of the Age of Strife if it were allowed to bear fruit. Over recent decades, one particular faction within the Logicians of the Calyx sector has grown to power, known as the Iron Tetrarchs. If the rumors amongst crime lords and the testimony of interrogated cult members are to be believed, these tetrarchs form a ruling council of sorts, the number of which varies depending on the source, ranging from 3 to as many as 100 members, for the Logicians of the Calyx sector. This council operates in concert to determine policies and coordinate long-term planning for the cult's diverse cells. It also administers the Logicians' seemingly massive commercial and financial resources to their countless individual plots, expeditions, and experimental projects, as well as to punish the failure of their underlings. Failure is a thing they will not tolerate. Although several high-ranking Logicians supposedly linked to the Iron Tetrarchs have been exposed and purged in the last decade, conclusive proof of this elusive group has never been found. This lack of proof has led some factions within both the Adeptus Arbitus and the Inquisition to doubt the existence of the Iron Tetrarchs, believing them to be either a simple, vainglorious myth or a deliberate fabrication of the cult's leaders to paint themselves as part of a wider and all-powerful conspiracy, the better to inspire loyalty and obedience in their followers. Were the Iron Tetrarchs to exist, as rumors claim, then they would have to be made up of highly placed members of the greatest imperial noble houses or commercial powers of the two sectors. They would need to have amongst their numbers ranking members of the Adepta or even the Inquisition in order to wield the rumored powers and resources claimed for them and remained hidden. A prospect that fills some inquisitorial factions with the deepest unease. And those were 40 facts about the Logicians. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. There's going to be a part 2, so hold tight. If you want to read up on these guys, jump on over to the wiki page. Link is going to be down in the description. That's going to give you pretty much all the information covered in this video, plus more stuff that we're not going to get to cover. And again, guys, if you guys have any other suggestions for other unknown or obscure races, groups, organizations, please comment down below. And of course, what do you guys think of this? Are the Logicians basically what the Emperor had in mind during his Great Crusade? Are they truly trying to fulfill his goal of being separate from the ecclesiarchy, separate away from believing in gods, and more towards science and unity within the empire? Or are they just oligarchs who want money and who really just want power and they're greedy? Comment down below. Can't wait to read your comments, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Don't forget to like, comment, and share this on Facebook, Twitter, or Facebook, whatever you use. And yeah, see you tomorrow. This was Gershwin with One Mind Syndicate, signing out.